Gotcha. Okay. There we go. Okay, we are live. Welcome to this magical little mini pop-up masterclass. We are going to explore parts work. Okay, so thank you for joining me for this little mini pop-up masterclass. We are going to explore working with parts of self. And I just want to share about an intro to working with parts, what's possible by working with parts, the miracles and the magic that you can create and experience by working with parts of self, the pathway to actually do that, and the purpose of it, and what we can really experience in life through the practice of this. Okay. We all have parts. This is something Dr. Bessel van der Kolk said, author of Body Keeps the Score. We all have parts. Okay. But up until now, most of the methods to explore parts of self have exclusively or primarily been through the psychology of the human experience, with a little insight about neuroscience. And so we are evolving now into exploring how to work with parts of self by understanding how consciousness flows through the human neurobiology, or how the essence of the soul flows through the brain, body, and subconscious. We want to move beyond just working from psychology of the mind. We want to go deeper than just working with the surface level clues of experience that we can notice and observe within the mind. We want to go beyond just working from a limited human identity that has exclusive associations with the things that you've experienced. We want to go deeper than that. We want to know how the essence of consciousness, the true self, the substance of the soul, is flowing through the miracles of our neurobiology. So we want to work with parts of self using consciousness and neuroscience in a way that allows us to experience expanded states of awareness and unconditional love. Okay, so we all have parts. There are 1 to 4 quadrillion connections in the brain. That's a billion times a million. And this is quoted from David Grand, who developed brain spotting, one of the many techniques I've integrated into my trifecta treasure trove modalities. So if you have 1 to 4 quadrillion connections just in your brain, how can you possibly get to know all parts of you? And how can that journey totally transform your life? Okay. Working with parts of self moves far beyond traditional approaches like internal family systems. While that is an excellent starting point, okay, these methods provide excellent practices of mindfulness, self awareness, and beginning to create structural changes in the brain. But there is a better way to dive deeper and create accelerated transformation in a more enjoyable and sustainable way that involves expanded awareness of neuroscience and consciousness, while reconnecting you with the infinite love that you are. Okay, what can be accomplished through parts work using the method I'm describing and will share more about? First, we look at different clues that you might be experiencing. Okay, so working with parts of self can serve and support your journey of self-healing, soul awakening, or sacred expansion if you are struggling with a mind-body disconnect. And this may include the mind leaving the body or being disconnected from the present moment. It might involve your mind being really busy and there's lots of inner chatter and thoughts get stuck on a loop and it's never really quiet. Maybe you're scatterbrained and it's just hard to focus or have clarity or calmness in your mind. It could be sensations in your body. Okay. It might be sensations in your body where it's difficult to enjoy life through your body because there's these really uncomfortable sensations. And maybe that has to do with the health of the connective tissues and such, for example. It might be because of unprocessed traumas that are stored inside of your body. It might be because, there's different things that can cause it, but it's just uncomfortable. Just being in your body is just an uncomfortable place to be. Okay. And you might have a hard time anchoring into your body. The mind might struggle to prioritize taking care of the body. The mind might struggle to prioritize being present with the body. Okay, so anything related with mind body connection can be served and supported and assisted through working with parts of self, which is what we'll explore in depth today. Okay, the second thing that can really be assisted through this process is navigation through thoughts, feelings, choices, and behaviors. Okay, and this may include, and so let me know what resonates, just kind of bring into your awareness what resonates, what connects with you, what is something you're experiencing, and you're like, yes, I want to transform that. And maybe this working with parts thing could be the miracle method I've been waiting for, right? Okay, let me know if you're experiencing any of this. Unsupportive thoughts, unpleasant feelings, unhelpful habits, self doubt, overwhelm, self judgment, comparison, perfectionism, the need to justify, defend, prove, or explain yourself, right? And so that comes in like a lot of times as like a narrative of the mind, like almost like you're like preparing a defense, right? Like if someone were to walk up to me, this is how I would explain myself. If someone were to ask me about this, this is how I would justify this. If someone didn't understand this, this is how I would justify and defend myself. This is how I would defend my position. And your mind creates this narrative of justifications, defensives, the proof, being able to prove yourself, or an explanation, being able to justify, defend, prove, or explain yourself. Perfectionism, where you're like, this isn't perfect. I need to work at it more and more and more. And maybe there's some obsessive compulsions with that, or maybe it's perfectionism. So you procrastinate because you're afraid of not being perfect. So it's scary to even begin, right? Comparison, and that judgment, and the comparison also then leads to that self-judgment, where if you're comparing and you're like, well, they're doing it this way and I'm not quite as good as that, so I'm going to judge myself because I'm not doing it like them, etc., right? Okay, these are all things that can be healed and transformed and moved through and nourished and transmuted and rebirthed by working with parts. And overwhelm, okay? Overwhelm. You ever feel overwhelmed? You ever have feelings of overwhelm? Is that ever something you experience and your mind's just like, you're overwhelmed, your body kind of shuts down because you're overwhelmed, and maybe there's lots of thoughts, or maybe you're just so overwhelmed you kind of go into like a freeze response in your nervous system. You just can't move, you can't make a choice. Okay, self-doubt, right? And it's like, I don't know if I can really make this choice because I don't know how to trust myself, and I don't know how to be confident in choosing this, or deciding this, or expressing this, or just being this. Okay, fear, worry, anxiety, tension, inability to relax mentally or physically. Okay. Ever experience any of these? Make a mental note so that you can know the deeper purpose of working with parts of self and how this miracle method can best serve and support your personal journey. Okay. Fear, worry, anxiety, tension, and inability to mentally or physically relax. And that can look like tension in your body, which can lead to chronic pain. If there's ever a thing in your body and nothing seems to help and you just can't heal it, and there's some chronic pain pattern and you can't figure out what's happening, oftentimes it's because the nervous system is dysregulated and the muscles are tensing. And because they're grabbing all of the time, it creates this chronic pattern of pain. All right. And so oftentimes we have to heal that by healing the body mind. You can't just heal the body being separate from the experience of yourself. And you can't just work with the mind because you won't be able to reach into the body. You have to work with the body mind, which includes the brain, body, and subconscious as a joint unit. Okay. So fear, worry, anxiety, tension. Anxiety can look like thoughts that are like really nervous and really worried. It can look like tension in your chest, or tachycardia, that racing heartbeat, right? Tension patterns right in here. It can look like tension patterns right in your chest, right? It can look like tension patterns in your belly, or like the lower abdominal area, where there's almost just like, you can't really maybe put words to describe it, but maybe like something is squeezing your stomach, or like you can't fully inhale and exhale, where your belly fully moves, your rib cage fully expands and contracts with deep breathing, right? Fear, patterns of fear, worry. Bitterness. Okay. These are just all the different things that can be helped by working with parts of self. And then we'll explore what that looks like. But first, just clarify, are you struggling with any of these things? And make a note, make an intention. I'm ready to heal this. I'm ready to reclaim power within this. I'm ready to transform this. I'm ready to rebirth this, to experience loving liberation of all that I am. Bitterness, self-criticism, anger, disconnection. Okay. Bitterness could be towards a particular experience, right? If there's something that you've gone through, maybe something that's really painful or challenging, and you think about it, there's this sense of bitterness, and that can maybe be felt in your body through different patterns of tension or discomfort. It can be felt in your emotions by just being angry or rageful or just cut off from happiness and peace. It could be in your mind through different stories or narratives that are flowing in your different patterns of thoughts, right? Bitterness, self-criticism, being really critical, being really hard on yourself, having those thought patterns that just kind of automatically come in and project, and they have signs of criticism, anger, disconnection, sadness, loneliness, unhappiness, lethargy, having no energy to enjoy life. That's a big one, because a lot of times it's not necessarily I'm really unhappy and I'm unsatisfied. Sometimes it's just I feel like I never have energy inside of my body to enjoy life. I feel like I don't have energy in my body to enjoy life. And shame, unworthiness, nervous laughter, inauthentic smiles, shallow breathing. These are all big ones too. Feelings of shame, unworthiness, nervous laughter. You ever have that laughter where it's not like totally authentic and you don't like fully feel it in your body? It's like more up here than down and felt in your belly. And it's like nervous laughter, inauthentic smiles where you don't smile very frequently, or your smile is like forced or faked, right? You kind of have to put it up there. Shallow breathing, where you're kind of breathing more from your chest than from your belly. Difficulties prioritizing your own inner needs or heartfelt desires, habits of escapism, avoidance, addiction, or instant gratification. And if your habits, behaviors, or choice tendencies are constantly escaping things or avoiding things or procrastinating, or there's an addiction to something and there's that instant gratification, you have a hard time taking care of all parts of yourself, taking care of your body, prioritizing your needs and your genuine desires. Okay. These are all things that can be helped by working with parts of self. Okay. So we want to look at the purpose of it before we dive into what it actually is, so you can know that this can serve and support you. Identity or sense of self. If you feel disconnected, empty, fragmented, lacking, less than, unfulfilled, thoughts or feelings don't agree with each other. There's a thought about, I want this. And then your emotions are like, no, I don't. Or you think you want something, but then your habits and choice patterns aren't matching up with, pursuing what you desire. Different thoughts and feelings well, I want to do this. No, I want to do this. I feel this way. No, I feel this way. I want to make this choice. No, I want to make this choice, right? Disruptions and just having unity within all aspects of self, right? Defining your identity by experience and having stronger external attachments than internal attachments. Okay. So if you are defined by your work, for example, then your mind will constantly be leaving your body and leaving the present moment to go focus on that work, because the mind has an identity attached to that work. And then you're leaving your own self because the external attachments are stronger than the connections you have with your own inner being. If your identity is defined by experience, there can be a lot of disruptions in the mind, especially. Seeking guidance, validation, love, recognition, safety, or support outside of you without first gifting that to your own inner self. There's nothing wrong with being validated and recognized and celebrated and having safety and support by other people or situations, but the goal is to prioritize giving that to yourself first, and then anything else is a plus. It's a cherry on top. It's not a necessity. And so if there's disruptions in that where you're constantly looking to other people for advice on what to do, if you're constantly looking for other people to validate, the work you're doing or the way you're expressing yourself or how you look or the way you're dressing or whatever it might be, if you're constantly looking for safety or support or recognition or anything outside of you without first gifting that to yourself, there can be disruptions in your identity, because then who you are is dependent on how other people and other things make you feel. And then it disrupts your unification or unified sense of self. And distortions in how you associate with your face, voice, or body. Okay, maybe you look in a mirror and there's distortions on how you see your physical body, distortions in how you associate with your physical body. Like, oh man, I don't love my arm because it doesn't look a certain way. Okay, that is a distortion because your arm is a miracle no matter how it looks. And so we want to be able to have this unconditional loving connection with all parts of ourselves without these disruptions or distortions. Okay, if there's different things of your voice and feelings of insecurity when you speak or sing, or even when you're quiet or whatever it might be, expressing your truth, expressing your voice, right? The throat chakra. If there's blockages in our throat chakra, or if there's distortions in the connection we have with our voice, right? Okay, that's something that can be helped by working with parts of self so that you can feel more grounded in your confidence, for example. Okay, these are all just examples of ways that working with parts can serve and support you so that you can know the purpose of everything we're about to explore and how it can actually be in service to your journey. Okay, so your identity, external expressions of self. So that was all about your internal reality. And then there's also the external expressions of self. And this includes health and well-being, right? Mental, emotional. Oh,
Okay, I found this on the web for Casey Identity.
sorry. Siri thought I was talking to shh. Okay. One moment.
Okay.
Okay.
This includes health and well-being.
Okay, recording this for a little something that I'm making. Okay, back to it. Okay, so health. Okay, then we have health. Then we have our health and well-being. Okay, we have mental, emotional, habitual, and somatic health. The health of our thoughts, the health of our emotions, the health of our choices, habits, and behaviors, and the health of our body and the feeling of being fully inside of our body. Health and well-being. And then there's relationships and the environment, lifestyle, communication, intimate and fulfilling connections. Okay, if there's disruptions in any of these areas, there's disruptions in health, there's dis-ease, there's unhealthy relationships, toxic environments, harmful lifestyles, unfulfilling connections, miscommunications in relationships, or if you're not able to cultivate thoughts, feelings, behaviors, and internal energy that support who you desire to become and the life that you desire to create. These are all things that can be helped, that can be served and supported and transformed and healed and expanded, made into something new by working with parts of self. Okay. When you work with parts of self, the ultimate goal is to experience bliss, joy, love, freedom. Okay. When you work with parts of self, you get to feel a deeper connection with the fullness of life and the wholeness of who you are. And you get to reclaim sovereign authority in your mind so that your mind feels like a spacious, luxurious mansion where your thoughts naturally support you, naturally fuel your best life, naturally complement you and encourage you and expand you and nourish you. And there's never any inner voice that says otherwise. Okay. By working with parts of self, you can rewrite the life stories held in your body. You can transform past experiences without needing to look back at their details and resolve disruptions of well-being that might be associated with past painful encounters or traumas. And you get to allow for your body to be repatterned with pleasure and enjoyment and satisfaction so you can experience more of that in your everyday life, and to reconnect with all aspects of your true soul self. Okay. That's a whole other masterclass about what that's actually about. And to be free from past pains and to understand all aspects of you, right? Like when we go to take care of ourselves in everyday moments, we have to be able to understand what we need, why we need it, and how to fulfill whatever it is that we need. And this is basic things like when we're hungry, thirsty, tired, need to take a shower or a hot bath or exercise, needing to understand the difference between like low impact exercise or like, strength training and weightlifting, or being able to know when to take long, deep stretches in your body. Okay, just like basic self care. As an example, you have to be able to attune with all parts of you in that present moment and actually be able to be like, oh, this is what I need. This is why I need it. This is how I fulfill what I need. And so when you know and understand all parts of you, it makes life flow more seamlessly, right? You can flow with life better. And you get to have an identity that's rooted in love, ecstasy, liberation, wholeness, with greater self worth and confidence to embody, enjoy, express, and expand into your highest, truest, fullest self, and for your mind, body, and soul to feel like that luxurious mansion, hospitable home for you to live in and experience life through, to feel nourished, supported, unconditionally loved by the energy of your own inner realities, for your thoughts to feel like a loving best friend, for emotions to feel like heaven on earth, and for choices to support your best life. And through all of this, to know your soul's essence beyond definitions of the human experience, so that your identity is not rooted in things outside of you, but is fully anchored in the energy of your soul's authentic essence as we go through this process of awakening to our true soul self and expanding awareness through consciousness. And then we get to co create heaven on earth, which happens from within us, and to experience this expanded state of inner body, mind, soul unity and self mastery that allows us to increase our bliss, passion, pleasure, play, presence, contentment, satisfaction, joy, vitality, happiness, awe, wonder, magic, peace, stillness, relaxation, ease, flow, serenity, power, clarity, courage, inner leadership, self trust, freedom, ecstasy, liberation, so that that becomes your natural state of being. How could your life change, expand, or improve if that was your natural state of being? Okay. So that is the purpose of working with parts of self. That's the purpose. Okay. Now that we've explored the purpose, I want you to pause and make a note. Out of all of the things that we talked about, where you might be struggling with certain clues of experience, and then all of the amazing things we talked about where we want to activate and anchor that as your natural state of being. What resonates? Where are you at? I want to heal and transform this anxiety. I want to heal and transform XYZ. I want my mind to feel less busy and more spacious. I want to feel more enjoyment in my body. I want to feel more unity within my identity or my sense of self. I want to feel more empowered in my self confidence. I want to feel more embodied in my self worth. Okay. Make a note. Make a note, because that's your why. You have to know why this matters in order for it to actually matter. Otherwise, what I'm about to share isn't going to matter. So make a note of why this matters so that you can really maximize everything I'm about to share with you. Okay. Do you want more bliss, passion, pleasure, play, presence, contentment, satisfaction? Write down the words that resonate. Write them down and we'll continue. Joy, vitality, happiness, awe, wonder, magic, peace, stillness, relaxation, ease, flow, serenity, power, clarity, courage, inner leadership, self trust, freedom, ecstasy, liberation. Make a note of what you want to heal or transform, what you no longer want to experience, and what you do want to experience more of. That is your why. That is your why. Okay. Now that you know your why, now that we know what's possible by working with parts of self, let's explore what we actually do in that process. And this is the journey that I lead my one-on-one clients through in an intimate 3 or 6 month container, 3 or 6 month personalized pathway. And this journey includes weekly sessions, one-on-one with me, daily practices, and access to 15 different pieces of content that I've created, amazing, beautiful playbooks and videos and practices and guided experiences and insights and teachings and step-by-step processes. And they're really, really powerful. But all of them are different ways of working with parts of self through my original trifecta treasure trove modalities. We'll dive into that later, okay, for those who want to explore deeper. But right now, let's explore through parts work, okay? You gradually develop an expanded practice of dual awareness, self attunement, and using the language of parts, which are wonderful tools applied in various therapeutic models.
Models.
And so we want to have that as the basic foundation, but then go much deeper and much farther into our own inner, the miracles of who we are, okay? And so dual awareness is that capacity to notice different things and have full conscious presence with each of them. And so, for example, if you're healing anything from traumas, you practice dual awareness to notice the projection of a trauma sensation in your mind or your body, and then also notice being grounded and present wherever you are, especially by focusing on sensations of grounding stimulus. Okay. That's an example of dual awareness. And so when you're in the practice of working with parts of self using dual awareness, it goes deeper because you're noticing different parts of you through your awareness and different parts of your inner realities of your brain, your body, your subconscious, your mind, and the essence of yourself, while also staying fully grounded and present in your body in the moment. And so we have awareness of multiple things and the capacity to observe it all, right? The practice of being the observer, being the awareness, right? And then being able to attune or connect with whatever we choose to, instead of just automatically being suckled into this thought of the mind without awareness of everything else or the capacity to choose where I'm focusing and be the observer. Okay. So dual awareness, using language of parts, that's something that does come from internal family systems model, which again is a great starting point to an inner journey. And self-attunement, the ability to attune with yourself in a way that a parent would attune with their young infant, or a mother would attune with their child, or a romantic lover would attune with their partner. There's a very intimate relational attunement where you are in full connection with you and able to be in that deep loving presence. Okay, so we want to practice that inwardly with parts of self. Through parts work, we distinguish your awareness from experience. That's where you start to be the objective observer and just be the observer, just be the observer of yourself. And you start that with practices like meditation. And then we go deeper and we differentiate the self of you from what you're experiencing. And then we go deeper and we uncover what's creating those patterns of experience through the neural networks of the brain, the unconscious memories of the body, and internal needs that fuel all the miracles of our neurobiology. And this is summarized by understanding the love that you desire to experience, which is actually the love that you innately are. So all those sensations of experience, while they manifest in hundreds and thousands and millions of ways, they all come back to networks in the brain, memories in the body that are trying to navigate your need to experience the love that you desire, which is actually the love that you are. It's really parts of self wanting to be reconnected with the love that they are, but they don't know it because they're experiencing the patterns of the brain and the body. Okay. And so then we want to, okay, so from here, we've practiced being the awareness, the objective observer, and then differentiating the essence or the self of you from what you're experiencing, and then uncovering the deeper patterns that are creating that sensation of experience as your brain, your body are trying to navigate the moment in relation with the love that you desire. Then we start to reassociate with those parts of self based on their true identity, not the unconscious inner pattern. Because if parts of self only know how to associate with who they are in relation to that experience, then you can't really have a lot of power to transform the experience because parts of self won't be on board with it. They'll think that you're trying to kill them off, quote unquote, right? So if a part of self says, I don't know who I am without the fear, without the anxiety, without whatever it is that's coming up, then you have to create associations with those aspects of self independently of that unconscious inner pattern to show them who they are without it, or they won't be on board with you transforming and transmuting it. Okay. So then we reassociate with those parts of self based on their true identity, not the unconscious inner pattern. And then we activate an expanded awareness so that you then hold infinite power to create true transformation from the root cause of your experience. And this is the journey that I lead my one-on-one clients through. Okay. We go through and we not just go through this journey, but it's a very gradual expansion of infinite love and infinite awareness where you actually learn these inner skill sets so that you have access to the infinite power that already lies within you. And so all of this, what I just shared, where you practice the awareness and then distinguish who you are from the experience, you uncover the pattern in the brain, the body that's creating the experience, you pinpoint the specific need that's trying to navigate the love you desire, which is really the love that you are. And then, you start to reassociate with your identity independent of that pattern, and you practice this expanded awareness so then you can have the opportunity to create transformation from the root cause of your experience. All of that is done through verbal discussions. This, again, is a process I lead my one-on-one clients through in my one-to-one mentorship journey through written journaling. So you practice the language of self aspects where the way that you create a sentence can distinguish I of awareness from this aspect of myself, from this part of my brain and my body, from this part of my experience. And you have this distinction and connection so that you have more power to be the observer and to attune with yourself and to respond from your awareness of your inner power, from awareness and inner power. And so this is done through the written journaling and also through visual illustrations. And this is where my body, mind, soul treasure maps come in, because you get to have this simplified visual diagram that illustrates these complex intersections of neuroscience and consciousness. So you can visually have this illustrated representation of the distinction and connection between parts of you and what you're experiencing through your brain and your body. And again, this is the journey that I lead one-on-one clients through. So if you're interested, stay tuned. I'll share more information about that, or you can always reach out to me personally. I would love to connect and serve and support your journey. Okay, so this is just the introduction to parts work. Okay, at a half an hour in, we're just in the introduction. This is a powerful journey. This journey can change your life. This journey can give you infinite inner power to create absolutely any change or transformation you desire. This one pathway is what allowed my past self to independently resolve hundreds of debilitating health challenges from 20 years of complex trauma without needing anything or anyone else. This one pathway, this one modality, this one inner skill set healed and resolved the absolute impossible and allowed for all parts of me to be in deeper unity with ever expanding sensations of heaven on earth. So this journey is the greatest adventure of a lifetime. You get to build a powerful inner foundation that everything else can bloom and blossom from, because everything we desire in life needs a foundation. Relationships with other people, the work that we love to do, the places we love to go, the hobbies we love to invest in, like whatever it might be, we need to have an inner foundation of self in order to have these experiences we desire, right? And for who we are to be unconditional, where your confidence, your worthiness, your whatever it might be, doesn't depend on the external validation or guidance or whatever it might be, but you have the solid inner foundation, power to transform any thought, any feeling, any behavior, any pattern, any choice, power to create more bliss and pleasure and passion and play and freedom and love and abundance and all the juicy wonder that you desire, the ability, that foundation, that inner power to connect with your soul essence and know your identity beyond anything you're experiencing, okay? The power to transform any painful experience, any traumas, any residual impact from anything you've ever gone through, the power to create everything you desire in life, right? Building that inner foundation of body, mind, soul, it's the most worthwhile adventure you'll ever know. And it expands everything else you desire. So that's just the introduction. Okay. Then comes the real transformation. And this is where things get fun. This is where things get juicy. This is where things get filled with ecstasy and wonder and awe and dynamic, delicious wonderment. Like, this is where you get to experience ecstasy beyond your wildest dreams. This is where you get to experience feelings of unconditional love inside of your body that you never imagined were even possible to feel. This is where you get to feel the anchoring of your power in action, in full motion. It's so beautiful. It's so indescribably beautiful. So this is where the real transformation comes. That was, okay, so we've explored why it matters, what's possible through this process, what's possible by working with parts of self. Okay, you set some personal intentions of things you want to heal, transform, things you want to expand into and experience more of. And then we went through that kind of initial building the foundation, right? Practicing that distinction and connection, expanding your awareness, expanding self-attunement, being able to have this, awareness and connection with different things that you're experiencing within all parts of your own self and realities inside and out, right? That is kind of the initial setting that foundation. And then we get to make the real magic. Then we get to make the real transformation. Then we get to create the most wondrous miracles you ever could have dreamed possible. So, to understand that briefly here, how did all of those patterns first get inside of your brain and your body? Okay. How did all the patterns, right? There's quadrillions of connections of your brain. That's a billion times a million, a very large number that we can describe as infinite, right? An infinite amount of connections in the brain. And all the patterns of thought, feeling, emotion, behavior, choices, identity, the way you connect, communicate, collaborate in relationships, just all of it. How did all of that first get inside of your brain and your body? You weren't born with those patterns. You were born with the potential to develop quadrillions of connections in the brain that make your unique sense of self, but you weren't born with that already just existing. So how did it get there? Okay. All the patterns that now exist inside the brain, body, and subconscious, or what I call the body mind, first developed and came into existence through relational experiences. Okay, relational experiences that taught you how to navigate the love you desire, to experience. And so this began with attachment development in early life, where you are an infant, a toddler, a young child, and you literally, physically, and also energetically and metaphorically looked up to people outside of you. You looked up to your parents. You looked up to other adult figures. You looked up to other people. And you had all these experiences through those different relational, interactions. And based on those experiences, based on those relational encounters, your body mind learned different ways to navigate the love that you desire to experience. Because parts of you really want to feel seen and loved. Parts of you really want to feel valued and wanted. Parts of you really want to feel respected and honored and recognized and accepted and embraced. Parts of you really want to feel safe, secure, provided for, taken care of, sustained, right? Parts of you really want to feel that support and connection and intimacy and vulnerability and collaboration and just like being in the presence with that relational experience that allows you to know more of you as you are in a relational experience with someone else. Parts of you want to have a sense of importance, purpose, value, and belonging. And so parts of you want to experience unconditional love. And so through relational experiences, the body mind gradually learned ways to navigate the love that it desires. Okay. But through all of that humanness, little did we realize that we are the essence of love. We are love embodied. We are love incarnate. We are love made manifest. We are perfect love. The soul is love. The source of our soul, whole within the perfect love that it naturally is. But we didn't know that. And so throughout our life, there were experiences where we weren't in full union or connection with unconditional love. And that disrupted how our brain, body, and subconscious learn to navigate who we are in the life we live. And then parts of self became separate from other parts of the self. Okay. And we didn't know that we actually just are love. Love isn't something we have to seek or navigate outside of us. It is the essence of who and what we naturally are. So this is a process of returning home to the love that we are. So all the patterns that now exist first developed through relational experiences that taught us how to navigate the love we desire, which is actually just the love that we are and didn't realize it. And so to reclaim power, we get to recreate that process internally by mirroring it within our own inner being. Parts of self can nourish conscious inner relationships in a way that quantumly rewires the brain, body, and subconscious. Everything shifts when you create a felt sense of unconditional love inside of your body in ways that help all parts of you feel intimately seen, loved, valued, wanted, supported, connected, safe, secure, honored, embraced, all the needs that we mentioned, all the needs to experience the love we desire, right? So when you consciously create that unconditional love inside of your body while nourishing relationships between distinct aspects of self, then you can mirror the process that first developed all the info now existing, and thus have power to transform it at its root cause, at its root foundations, at the core root foundation of the body mind. Okay. In this process, you learn to be the observer of yourself, right? Rather than the part of you within the experience. And then you learn to consciously respond to the love that you desire in that moment. And then fulfill that love from within while nourishing a relational connection with that part of the self. And so you're connected with your soul essence, who is love. You respond to parts of your human self who desire love, and you create that felt sense of unconditional love inside of your body. Okay. That's kind of the aim, the purpose, the intention of working with parts of self. From one perspective, it's a way to embody or connect with your higher self, right? At the beginner journey, it's, practicing being the observer and practicing that mindful presence and, simple practices of self-love. And then as you get more advanced and you're connecting with more of your consciousness, more of your expanded soul essence, that higher self that you are here to be, not something outside of you, but just who you are naturally becoming, then you go deeper into the work with parts, which is what I offer through my one-on-one mentorship journey. Within my models, my trifecta treasure trove modalities that I spent the past 7 years developing through 20,000 plus hours of independent work in my implicit revelations case study. And in the process, things that are incorporated into the trifecta treasure trove from modalities that already exist include mindfulness, meditation, self-hypnosis, emotional freedom technique, EFT tapping, chakra healing, chakra tapping, energy work, understanding of attachment development, neurodevelopment, theories of socialization, working with parts of self, internal family systems model, the language of parts, EMDR, which stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. We don't work with specific past memories, but we do have in the trifecta treasure trove modalities, there is the integration of concepts that use eye movements in particular ways to rewrite the memory stored deeper in the body than we can consciously access, with the emphasis to fulfill the internal needs for those parts of self that might be stuck in the past by creating a felt sense of fulfillment for those needs inside of the body in the present moment. Shamanic soul retrievals, brain spotting, a technique developed by David Grand, the polyvagal theory, something created by Dr. Stephen Porges, vagus nerve healing, mind-body connection, neuroscience, unconscious memories, including work by Peter Levine, split brain models, neuroplasticity. There's a lot of different concepts that already exist that have been integrated and incorporated into the model I've developed and now share through my online business, especially through my one-on-one mentorship journey. So in this process, when we're working with parts of self, okay, and so to recap, to bring everything into each other, right? There's a purpose for working with parts. There's things in your experience you want to transform, heal, resolve, no longer experience or not experience as much of, right? And then there's things that you want more of, more bliss, more presence, more freedom, more unity of yourself, more embodied worthiness and empowered confidence, right? You want this unification of body, mind, soul so you can experience the magic and the delicious ecstasy of life. And then we have kind of a bit about the process of the journey. And in order to mirror the relational process, right? There has to be two parts. Okay. If there's a relational experience between a mother and a child, there has to be two people to have that interaction. If there's a relational encounter between two romantic lovers, there has to be two parties to have that relational encounter. If there's two best friends, has to be two parties to have that relational encounter. So working with parts of self involves having this distinction and connection so that A, you're not identifying with the experience. B, you understand what's causing the experience based on neuroscience. C, you can't be the same part of you coming in to help support you and transform that self-doubt. The part of you who needs to feel seen, loved, valued, wanted, accepted, embraced, the fulfillment of the love you desire, can't be the same part of you that comes in and gives them that love. So there has to be two distinct parts of self, one rooted in expanded awareness, and one that's distinguished from what's creating the sensation of experience through your brain, body, and subconscious. There's kind of this little layers of self and experience we need to have awareness of and distinction and connection with. Okay. And so to practice this, there are 20 aspects of self within the inner soul family. The inner soul family. Why is it the inner soul family and not just like your internal family? Okay. And it's because it's the essence of your soul when fully liberated into the true self and no longer defined by distortions of being separate from love. When there are those disruptions of well-being or things that we don't want to experience, it's because the body remembers being separate from love. The body remembers not feeling safe or supported. The body remembers not feeling seen and loved. The body remembers not feeling like there was a sense of belonging or purpose or importance or significance or like, what's the point of me even existing here? The body remembers being separate from love and is then disrupting navigation of the present moment because of the activity of those unconscious memories stored in the body beyond awareness. But that is not the same thing as parts of self. But parts of self don't know that. Parts of self don't know that they're not the anxiety. Parts of self don't know that they're not the self-doubt. Parts of self don't know that they are not the patterns of thoughts, emotions, behaviors, habits, choices, whatever it might be, because they've only known how to associate with their existence based on those inner patterns of navigation. So we want to liberate the essence of the soul through an expanded awareness or expanded states of consciousness and reunify with the infinite love that is the truth of who you are, and then repattern the body mind to support that, right? So we're creating change on a cellular level, on a neurobiological level, on a DNA level, on a quantum level of our neurobiology, and through the ripples of the electromagnetic field of our consciousness. We want all of it to be impacted, but we want it to be easy. We want it to be fun. We want it to be an accelerated journey where you can see results as soon as you start practicing stuff, right? It doesn't take like, I've been doing this work for like 2,000 days and I'm only starting to see transformation and it wasn't fun, right? None of that. None of that. Okay. We want it to be easy. We want it to be fun. We want it to be enjoyable. We want it to be something you look forward to showing up for. You want it to be something where you notice shifts and rewards in every time you practice that accumulate to bigger and bigger wins, right? In a way that inspires you. Excuse me. In a way that inspires you so that you want to show up for this journey. Okay. So within the model that I teach from, that I've developed, again, incorporating concepts from all of those things, but the foundation of it is something brand new, right? There are 20 aspects of the inner soul family. Okay. And the miracle about this modality and how my inner evolutionary hero was able to transform hundreds of debilitating health challenges from 20 years of complex trauma. Okay. That's a lot. That's a lot to go through. And again, we have a quadrillion connections in the brain. All quadrillion of them were transformed, right? Okay. And so creating this transformation was possible because of this, what I'm about to share. Each aspect of the inner soul family within my trifecta treasure trove modalities is connected with a specific region of the brain, the body, and the subconscious. Specific regions of left, right brain hemispheres, the front, mid, back parts of the brain, states of brainwave regulation, states of activity in the autonomic nervous system, patterns in unconscious memories, implicit emotional and procedural memories. This is where it gets into neuroscience, right? I could geek out on this all day. Unconscious memories, implicit emotional and procedural memories. These are stored in the body. You cannot access them through the mind, and they affect 80% or more of choices and emotions unconsciously beyond awareness. So if you're trying to change a pattern in your choices or your emotions, which comprise the majority of our human experience, if you really think about it, then the unconscious memories in the body is where you want to be working from. Okay. Everything we talked about earlier, everything we went through, all different things with mind body connection, navigation through your thoughts, feelings, choices, behaviors, identity, sense of self, the external expressions through relationships, lifestyle, health, all of it. Those are all severely, dramatically, profoundly, expansively, abundantly affected by unconscious memories stored in the body beyond awareness. So that's where we want to create the deep transformation from. And different patterns of our inner and outer realities through the mind body connection, the flow of masculine, feminine energies, how consciousness is navigating infinite energy within the human form, the soul's identity beyond just the human experiences that are patterned in the brain body, right? Okay. 20 aspects of the inner soul family, and each aspect is correlated with a certain energy state or region in the brain, body, and subconscious. So you notice what you're experiencing. You're like, I don't want this anxiety anymore. I don't want this self-doubt. I want peace and I want empowered confidence. And I want that to be the root of my mind, my body, and my identity, right? Mind, body, and soul. Then you're like, okay, where is it coming from? And this is what we go through in the processes that I teach and lead my one-on-one clients through. And through body, mind, soul treasure mapping, we can have the visual illustration and the written journaling, but you pinpoint, oh, this is coming from dysregulation of my frontal lobes, where the front part of my brain that helps me be in expanded awareness keeps shutting down. There's dysregulation in my nervous system. There's a subtle stress response coming in that's disrupting hormones, etc., whatever it might be. And you notice maybe an imbalance in the brain hemispheres. You notice that there's a pattern of unconscious memories from a past trauma that never got processed, right? Okay, now we understand where it's coming from. Okay, so let's go in and rewire it. But this is where we get to have fun. This is where we get to play. This is where it gets to be easy, fun, with accelerated results of transformation. Okay. Yeah, sure. We know where it's coming from in the brain and the body, but instead of working with the brain and the body, we are going to work with consciousness. We are going to work with the soul's identity of infinite love. We are going to play with these relational connections between aspects of self. And that's the only focus. You don't have to work with the brain hemispheres. You don't have to work with the nervous system. You don't have to work with the unconscious memories directly. Okay. Once you have the awareness, that just helps you know what aspect of the inner soul family you need to build a relationship with. And then you get to play. and you get to love yourself, and you get to feel this felt sense of unconditional love in a way you've never known as you practice this new style of having a relational connection within yourself. Okay. So 20 aspects of the inner soul family, they're each correlated with specific energies, regions, activities, states of the brain, body, and subconscious. So once you pinpoint the root cause of something that you want to transform or change in your life, then we know, oh, that's correlated with the youngest inner child. That's correlated with the divine feminine. That's correlated with your inner life partner. That's correlated with your soul of abundance or your soul of peace. Okay, that's correlated with this aspect of your inner soul family. So now let's get to know them. Okay, you can't love someone unconditionally unless you get to know them, right? Like if you're going to have an intimate relationship with someone, if you're going to have this intimate lifelong relationship with someone, and you're going to help them feel unconditional love inside of their body in the way that they've never known before, right? Then you want to get to know those parts of you. But the parts of you are not the sensations of experience. The parts of you are not the details of the brain, body, subconscious wiring. That's not the truth of who these parts of you really are. But even they don't fully know that. So a big part of this part's work that I've created through the trifecta treasure trove modalities, and part of why it goes much deeper than many existing models as well, is because we want to get to know the essence of the soul for who you truly are, not defined by anything you have ever experienced or any pattern of your brain, your body, or subconscious. And once you start to get to know who you are, you have greater power to create transformation because your identity is not limited by what you are changing or transforming. Again, if a part of you only knows how to associate with their identity based on whatever it is you're trying to bring healing or transformation to, they're going to be in resistance because they're like, wait, but you're trying to like kill me off, right? But once you start to get to know them for who they really are and show them who they are, you are love. You are seen, you are loved, you are supported, you are abundance, you are freedom, you are embodied confidence, you are embodied worthiness, you are personal, infinite inner power, you are peace and bliss, you are. And there's practices and journeys where you somatically show that to them. So it's felt in your body, mentally, emotionally, energetically, somatically. Show these aspects of you, the truth of their soul, and start to reconnect with and reunify with the infinite love that you are. You hold more power to create transformation because your identity is no longer restricted by what you are experiencing or what you're trying to change or transform. Okay. So 20 aspects of the inner soul family in the process. There's so much potential for how it can serve and support your journey. Talked about that at the beginning of this. And then the process begins with being the observer of yourself with an experience, and then distinguishing the essence of you from what you're going through, and then starting to understand that pattern of experience based on the patterns of your brain, body, and subconscious in like a simplified way, just so you have just enough insight to be like, oh, I get it. That makes sense, right? Pinpoint the need that's kind of deeper within that. I call those attachment needs, relational needs, or the need to experience the love you desire, right? What is the love that these parts of you desire to experience? And if we were to give them that unconditional love, who would they be then? If those parts of self had unconditional love fully felt in their body, they wouldn't feel anxious. If those parts of self had unconditional love fully felt in their body, they wouldn't feel doubtful or critical or judgmental of themselves, right? So, who would those parts of be if they were in full union with the infinite love that is the truth of who they are? And then we have these practices where we start to nourish these relational connections in a very unique and specific way, where we do mirror a lot of that process of the relational development we went through during early life and the relational encounters we've gone through since then, right? And so, two examples are a parent and the infant, toddler, or young child. And then as you get older in life, the romantic lover. Okay, romantic lover. So we want to mirror those kinds of relationships between parts of self. And when we do that in a way, we're working with aspects that are connected with different energies and networks and information of our brain, body, and subconscious, then we rewire and transform the root cause of our experience. and create a really powerful internal foundation that can serve and support us in transformative ways for the rest of our life, right? Okay, so just looking through my notes here. Within the inner soul family, got that. So here, the ultimate aim, the purpose of all of this, there's 10 intentions or purposes for this pathway. First is to welcome home fragmented parts of self. Okay. And we talked about this earlier. When parts of self feel separate from love, when they don't feel seen, loved, valued, wanted, right? Their identity is defined by these experiences where they don't feel connected to unconditional love, then parts of us can become separated from the totality of who we are. And then we can feel like something's missing or we're not complete or like you don't really know who you are. You need to do some soul searching. Like there's different sensations that might come up, but it's often this fragmentation of self. And this can also manifest in different health disruptions. Okay. So we want to welcome home fragmented parts of self and heal lingering impacts from painful past experiences. This includes healing trauma, but we're not looking at the events, we're looking at the effects, the residual impact of how it's affecting us now, not the thing that originally happened in an experience that's no longer here outside of us in a time that's not now. We're looking at the present patterns in our mental, emotional, energetic, and somatic bodies and our health and well-being. So we welcome home fragmented parts of self through this process of parts work. We heal lingering impacts from painful experiences, never needing to look back. Okay. This was another game changer for my personal evolution. My past self was able to heal hundreds of debilitating health challenges, including the most gnarly complex PTSD you could literally imagine from 20 years of continuous, ever intensifying traumas, starting from a very young age, without needing to look back at the details of past experiences. Okay, through this process of parts work, because when you nourish the relational connections, create that felt sense of love in the body, you have this deeper presence and awareness and attunement. You're mirroring the process that first created all the patterns, transforming it at the roots. You're going so much deeper than you could ever possibly go by looking at details of past experiences. And then we're restoring mental, emotional, somatic, and soul-based or energetic well-being. And so the important thing here is that we're working with all four bodies. If you are only working on your physical health, right, that will positively affect, your mental, emotional body, but that's not all of you, right? That's a part of you. If you're only focused on subconscious reprogramming through affirmations, for example, then you're working with the mental body, which might have positive effects in theory, hypothetically, sometimes, but you're still not working with all of you, right? It's one tool. It's not the thing that does everything for all of it, right? And if you're working with your emotions, then you might have different habits that make you feel good, but maybe they're not actually in the best interest of your physical health, for example, or whatever it might be. Those are just some examples. But we want to work with all four bodies. And even more importantly, we want to work with the foundation that sustains and connects them, which is the process of how relational experiences taught us to navigate the love we desire, which is the love that we are. Attachment development. And this goes to body, mind, soul attachment theory. I have another masterclass about it if you want to dive deeper into that, shares more insights about the power of working with parts through the models I've developed. So we want to restore mental, emotional, somatic, and soul-based or energetic well-being by working with all four bodies and the foundation that supports, sustains, and connects all of them. And that's what you do when you work with parts of self, because you're working with the body, you're working with somatics, you're working with your emotions, you're working with your mind and your awareness, you're working with the essence of your soul and the energy of your consciousness, and you're working with the foundation that created all of it. Really, 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 really powerful. And again, fun, easy, accelerated results. You enjoy the process. It's fun to show up for. There's a lot of play involved, a lot of clever creativity and passionate curiosity. And you get to see these shifts and transformation in real time. And they accumulate to create the deeper, lasting, lifelong transformation that you desire. Absolutely. Yes. And to open that heart. Yes, absolutely. Great mention. Beautiful. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Thank you for those tuning in. I appreciate you and I'm grateful you're here. So, welcome home, fragmented parts of self, heal lingering impacts from painful experiences, restore mental, emotional, somatic, and soul based well being. Okay. And again, all of this is through one process. All of this is through one journey. All of this is through one inner skill set that is focused on love and presence, deeper presence with all parts of you, deeper love for all aspects of you. Right? So this is massive, massive return on the investment in terms of the change and the transformation you can create by literally one miracle method. And then we get to transform the stories and sensations held in your body, the stories that get projected in your mind, the sensations that are felt in your body, the stories and sensations that are held. And again, these are often in the unconscious memories from things we've gone through that are trying to navigate our unfolding reality. And to reconnect all parts of body, mind, soul. So if the mind is really busy or keeps leaving the body or leaving the present moment, then it's not fully connected to the body or the soul. If you feel like you're defined by your human experience and you don't have this expanded awareness of your electromagnetic field or the essence of your soul, right? That infinite part of you, then your soul isn't fully in your body. And if you can't enjoy or feel enjoyment, pleasure, or satisfaction inside of your body, then you're not in full union with your body. So we want to reconnect all parts of body, mind, soul, which improves the quality of life in a million different ways. We want to awaken your soul's highest truth, light, and wisdom for the process of your soul's evolution and expansion so that you can enjoy the fullness and the wholeness of all that you are in this lifetime. And to shift your identity so it's rooted in love and wholeness. There might be aspects of self that are defined by past experiences, that are defined by the patterns of thoughts or feelings or habits or behaviors, that are defined by fragmentation or being separate from love. So we want to shift the identity and how you associate with yourself so it's rooted in love and wholeness. We want to expand how you associate with yourself, and this is expanding on the shifted identity, but specifically so that you can embody deeper power, confidence, worthiness, and joy. To have more joy, more freedom, more worthiness, self worth, a deep sense of self value and honor, self respect, inner power, empowerment, confidence. Okay. And for that to allow you to have a stronger foundation to expand in every area of life in the way that you desire. And then from there, you get to cultivate your natural state of being of feeling heaven on earth sensations from within. And it might not be 24/7 because we are in this human experience, but on a consistent basis, every single day, you should be able to return to joy, bliss, peace, freedom, and all the juicy goodness that we mentioned earlier, the bliss, pleasure, passion, play, presence, contentment, satisfaction, joy, vitality, happiness, awe, wonder, magic, peace, stillness, relaxation, ease, flow, serenity, power, clarity, courage, inner leadership, self-trust, freedom, ecstasy, liberation, self-mastery through body, mind, soul unity. Okay? And for that to be your natural state of being, where if you're not feeling that on a consistent basis, you're not able to return home to that, that's when something's off, right? Not vice versa. It's not that's the rare thing we're reaching for. It's that's the normal, that's the standard, right? And then to harmonize masculine, feminine energy so you can enjoy the fullest expression of your truest self. And the way to achieve all of this has to do with rewriting those unconscious memories inside of the body. But you can't create that if you're working just with the psychology of mind. You can't do it if you're just trying to heal and resolve the symptoms of what you don't want to experience. You can't do it working just solely from the mind or the mental plane of thoughts and subconscious reprogramming through your mind alone. You can't do it just from the awareness of your surface experiences, right? If you have these patterns of thought and feeling and behavior, but you don't understand the reason that they exist in your body in relation to navigating the love you desire to experience, for example, you can't create transformation at the root cause. So you can't go through this process if you're just working from the mind or the awareness of the surface experiences, psychology, wanting to resolve the symptoms you don't want, right? You can't do it working with conscious memories, where you reach into details of the past and can observe those memories through your mind. You cannot create this change by directly working with the patterns of thought, feeling, or body sensation, because you haven't gotten to the root of it. Okay. You can't do this by assuming that those inner patterns are communication from your true self. Okay. And another thing that can get interesting there is when you're learning to listen to your intuition, right? When is it just an unconscious pattern in your body that's trying to navigate the moment versus like intuition from like your highest divine consciousness? So you can't assume that the things that you're thinking and feeling are actually communication from the essence of you. A lot of times it's just the navigation of the brain and the body. But again, parts of you don't know who they are without that, independently of that or beyond that. You cannot create this transformation by working with one singular human self, okay? And you cannot create this transformation if your identity is defined by experiences. Instead, the secret to success is found in, drumroll please, the secret to success, the capacity to create all the transformation that we're talking about, especially by working with parts of self through my trifecta treasure trove modalities, for example. The secret to the success of this transformation that truly lasts and can be an enjoyable process you look forward to showing up for, while also creating the results you desire within your experience in your life and your own inner self, is to apply neuroscience of the body mind, to invest in creating an internal foundation that supports the self you desire to be and the life you deserve to experience, to expand consciousness to help heal the body from the soul's essence. You can't heal the body just from the body. You can't rewire the brain just from the brain. Okay. That's where the work feels like work, isn't so fun, and takes a long time. When you work from consciousness, you're working with the power that creates universes and worlds, the power that precedes the everythingness that exists in your brain and your body. When you work from consciousness, when you work from your soul's essence, you are tapped into a quantum power that can accelerate everything and can be a process that is much more enjoyable to show up for. And by expanding, secret to success is also found in expanding awareness of the neuroscientifically proven root cause of every issue, which is exactly what my modalities allow us to do. To transform unconscious memories that carry patterns of feeling and movement deep inside the body. You're not trying to change the feeling and the habit. You want to change the unconscious memories in the body stored beyond awareness that are causing and creating that inner pattern of experience. And to rebuild your body-mind foundation in a way that can affect all the patterns of thought, emotion, and sensation. When you transform the foundation, you transform everything existing on top of that foundation. And so instead of things, right, you rebuild the foundation, you quantumly transform all the thoughts, all the emotions, and all the sensations in a way that is more lasting. Because if you just change one single thought, there's going to be some other thought that comes in that you then have to change. But when you create change from the foundation, you transform what precedes all of it. And the secret to success is found in using the thoughts and the feelings as clues to understand the body mind, but then transcending those automatic inner patterns to listen deeper for communication from aspects of the true self, and learning to differentiate and interpret and understand the communication between the body mind and the essence of your soul self. Secret to success is by having an identity defined by your soul's authentic essence of unconditional love, not human experiences. And the secret to success is found in understanding how all aspects of you flow through all aspects of your human form, which is especially expanded when understanding the 20 aspects of the inner soul family flowing through these distinct energy states and regions of the brain, body, and subconscious. So that is an introduction to working with parts of self. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for exploring this. I would love to hear what resonates, what made sense, what felt inspiring or empowering, what was helpful, what something new that you learned. I would love to hear from you and just hear how this landed, if this resonated, if this made sense, how this connects with your own personal journey. And, if you have questions, I'm open to receiving some. I might address them on further shares here. And then for the deeper dive, I do offer my mentorship journey. So thank you again for tuning in. And then if you want to dive deeper, I would absolutely love to serve and support you through my 3 or 6 month one-on-one mentorship journey, activating heaven on earth within body, mind, and soul. And in this journey, we get to intimately know all aspects of you, nourish inner relationships with self, help all parts of you fully feel unconditional love inside of your body, learn how to use the power of consciousness or connection with your true soul self to lovingly rewire your brain, body, and subconscious, and to influence life from within, to create transformation from the inside out, to expand well-being in mental, emotional, somatic, and energetic bodies so that you get to experience all the juicy goodness we talked about and create healing transformation at the root cause of anything you're going through, and to activate and expand those feelings of heaven on earth from within, to repattern your body, to naturally navigate self and life through ever increasing inner presence, power, bliss, joy, love, abundance, freedom, wholeness, fulfillment, passion, pleasure, play, awe, wonder, magic, childlike curiosity, courage, self-leadership, inner trust, confidence, worthiness, empowerment, and embodiment. And all of this is achieved through my one-on-one mentorship offering, through body, mind, soul treasure mapping, personalized play practices, and guided marathon journeys, through weekly sessions, daily practices you do on your own, and access to 15 playbooks and videos that share different practices and techniques that I lead you through. So if you're interested in a 3 or 6 month one-on-one mentorship journey to dive deeper into working with parts of self, I would be absolutely honored to serve and support you in your journey. Please connect with me and I'll share more information. And if it's a good fit, we can connect through a free miracle meeting or a video call and discuss how this journey can be personalized to perfectly fit who you are, where you're at, and what your intentions are moving forward. It is magical beyond human comprehension, and I'm so grateful and honored to get to share this with you. So thank you again for tuning in and connecting. Share this with someone who might benefit from these insights, these teachings, this wisdom, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you have a beautiful and blessed day. Sacred, sweet sojourner. Girl, you have no idea how amazing life is about to get for you.